Barb Davis says, do we have it all wrong? I used to watch your shows when I first left the LDS Church in 2012, all through 2013 and 14. Then I slacked off. Out of the blue, I watched one of your 70 AD shows. Has anybody ever had these thoughts that we have a God? He allows us to live on earth. He doesn't interfere with us, but he lets us live our choices, good and bad. And life happens because of these choices, along with death because of germs and bad people and storms and disasters. Jesus could have lived to show us the right path, but doesn't grant some miracle like letting someone live while taking others in plane crashes or war. It just doesn't make sense for him to be so heartless when two people pray righteous prayers and both are believers. Why does he show favoritism? She's pouring out her soul. Lots of ellipses between her things. She's 75 years old. And she says, I'm still searching for truth. I was Catholic 32 years, LDS 35 years. I now consider myself a saved Christian, but nothing makes me feel completely like life is understandable. So, you know, Barb, the longer I'm in the Word, the more I realize that God is not a despot, but he always gets his way. And while he always gets his way, I believe he completely gives us the ability to choose. And however, in allowing us to choose, he always is there to make things right in the end. That's the way I see it. And I don't believe we can control God through our prayers. I do not believe that for a second. I remember when I was a missionary for the Mormon Church, we used to have a booklet called Drawing on the Powers of Heaven. And it literally taught us that we could kind of get God in a corner and force him to do certain things by living and being a certain way. It was really reprehensible. He will accomplish his will. Having said that, we make a huge deal out of human suffering. I mean, a really big deal. And I have a different view of it. I was sharing it the other day and I heard someone laugh because they heard me say this. But, you know, it's like David. He goes and he kills Uriah and he takes his wife. And we think, and God still loved David? How unjust. What about poor Uriah? He should never be forgiven for that sin. And I realized it was bad, and I realized it was wrong. But maybe Uriah died, and he met God, and God granted him such blessings and made everything so right that Uriah was like, I am so glad David killed me. God has overabundantly blessed me for that unjust act that was perpetrated upon me. We think in such limited terms about it's so unfair, there couldn't be a God with all this suffering. But in the spectrum of the eternities, God will make all things right. That's a promise. All things just. That's a promise. And so if we trust in that, and that's what it's all about, Barb, is trusting in him and having faith in him and his ways, not leaning to our own understanding. We have a sign above us that says that. When you do that, you are saying to him, I know you're going to work this out. It's a really big territory now that's snowballing as people say, I can't believe in a God who allows, and I can believe in a God who allows because he's not a despot, and I do believe he will make all things, everything right in the end.